Alright, so practicing the finding the monthly payment, figuring out how much you pay and how much interest you have. So more applications of the installment loan types. Alright, so this example, we have borrowed $21,500. We're going to pay so this is a fairly low percentage, 2.49 for 60 months. So this time we're given the months. Alright, so this is the loan. This is the APR. They actually gave us T. T is 60 months. They didn't tell us the years, but 60 months is 5 years is what it is. And that's for if you're buying a car, most car loans are around 5 years. So that's what this represents. So this represents a 5-year loan. You're going to make 12 payments for 5 years. That gives you out 60 total payments. Alright, so this problem actually told you how much you're going to pay your payments on. Alright, your interest rates. Monthly interest rate, you take your APR, which is 0.029, divided out by the 12 months. This time, if you try to simplify that on your calculator, you get an ugly decimal. Do not write down a rounded part. Leave this exact. If you're using the formula, you have to type that in exactly. So it gets a little messier when R doesn't come out nice, because I'll have to have a few more sets of parentheses that are important. So this is so leave exact the monthly interest rate. Alright, which is what the R represents. Alright, so now we're going to fill out the formula carefully this time. Alright, so our monthly payment. So we're going to use the monthly payment formula. Alright, up top is our loan amount, which was $21,500. That's how much we borrowed for our car. R, this time we leave it the fraction, so I encourage you to put the parentheses around the fraction. And then we'll also need parentheses here. So again, where you have to have parentheses, I'll kind of highlight it. This is the addition, where I've got 1 plus R. Alright, so 1 plus that fraction raised to the t, which is 60. And so again, I would put parentheses around the fraction, and you have to have parentheses around this addition. So it takes that whole thing, 1 plus R, and raises it to the 60. And again, because we're raising it to a big number like 60, that's why you can't round this, because it'll be significantly off, because 60 means I'm taking that number and multiplying by itself 60 times. Alright, so if I round, I'm significantly off 60 times, and that's a lot to be off by. Right, in the bottom, I also have to have 2 sets of parentheses. I have to have the big set around the subtraction, and then the little set around the addition again. So inside I need 2 sets of parentheses, because you need the first set, the 1 plus R divided by 12 raised to the 60. Again, you have to have that parentheses, so it takes the addition to the 60 degrees. And then remember, minus 1 comes after that, and you have to have you always have to have the set of parentheses around the minus 1 statement. Alright, so again, practice. This is complex. You have to be very careful with your keystrokes, very careful with your parentheses. When in doubt, always add extra sets of parentheses if you need them. Practice it. If you're using the formula, make sure you put tons of parentheses. Make sure you can see the formula so that you don't get confused with that 60 there. That 60 is important. And if you are using the finance key on the calculator, you should get the same answer whether you're using the formula or the finance key. You just, again, have to be careful on how you type it in. Either way, careful how you type it in. You should get the same exact answer. Alright, so the monthly payments are $387.37 for 60 months. That's what you have to do. That's the monthly payments. Right, on the car. So to pay back your car in 5 years and 60 months, you have to pay the bank or the car place $387.37. So how much do you actually pay for your car? Right, again, so this would be the total payments. Well, you take your $387.37 times the 60 months that you make your payments over. And so 2.20. So this one's not as bad. Again, it's shorter. Right? And the interest rate was a lot lower than our last example. The interest rate was 2.9%, which if you have a good interest right now, that's about what the interest rate is for car loans right now. As long as you're not a new buyer and you have a good, oh my gosh, my brain went. If you have a good interest rate, and you can get your loan at that fairly good price. All right, so how much interest did you end up paying? Interest on your car. So again, the interest is the amount you paid, total payments, minus the loan, the amount you borrowed. All right, so the total payments was $23,122.20 minus the $21,500 that you actually borrowed. So the difference is $1,622.20. So again, a little bit better than the previous example because again the loan was shorter. Always pay back less in interest when the loan is shorter. And the interest rate was about half, right? I think the first example I had a 6% interest rate. In this example I had a 2.9, which again, like I said, 2.9 is when you have a really good credit score. So if you have a really good credit score and you go out to borrow money, that's about what the interest rate is if you have a good credit score. Alright, the next example. Alright, and there's one like this in your homework where there's a lot of times that actually if you go buy a car, if you've ever gone and bought a car, usually they will give you 2 or 3 options, and you have to figure out which option's the best for you. Alright, so this is an example. Suppose that a buyer got these 2 options. Alright, so we have an automobile dealer that offers a 0% APR as indicated in their advertisement. 0% financing means that you pay no interest on the loan. So if we borrow $1,200 at 0% interest, you pay it off over 12 months. You take how much you borrow divided by your 12 months, and that's all you pay. So you don't pay anything in interest, right? That's what the 0% finance means. And whenever you see those, and sometimes it says 0% finance for the first 6 months, 0% finance for the first 2 years. And so what that means, it means that there's no interest incurring. You're just paying off whatever the original amount borrowed is. Alright, suppose that you're offered these 2 things. You're going to buy a new truck that costs about $30,000. You plan to finance your purchase with a loan that you'll repay over 2 years. So you're going to make a pretty quick payment back. The dealer offers you 2 options. Either you can get 0% interest or a $300 rebate. So rebate means they'll take $300 off of the cost of the car. Right, so that means you're only going to pay $27,000. But if you do that, you'll take out what's left over, the $27,000, and you'll pay for the rest with a loan, which you'll get an APR of 6.5% over your 2 years. All right. So the question is, which one should you take? All right, and off the cuff, it would seem like, well, the 0% interest, right? The 0% interest would be the way to go. So we'll take it. So the first plan, the 0% interest. Well, that means you're going to pay $30,000 exactly over 2 years. Right? Which, just to figure out what our monthly payment would be, you would take your $30,000 divided by 2 times 12, right? So you'd take it divided by 24. So you take your $30,000 divided by 24 because you're going to make 24 payments. And so you would have to pay back $1,250 a month to pay off this exactly. Again, 2 years is a short amount of time. Right? So you're paying off $30,000 in 2 years. So every month for 2 years you'll have to pay $1,250, but you only pay exactly $30,000. You don't pay any more. All right. Well, suppose you take the rebate. Which means you're going to take out a loan for $27,000 at 6.5% interest. So your monthly interest rate would be 0.065 divided by 12. They have to leave that exact. You're still going to make 24 payments. Right, those are the monthly payments. Right, because it's 12 times for 2 years. Right, so 24 payments total. Alright, so fill out. So first thing we're going to do is we'll figure out the monthly payments. Because I have to figure out monthly payments before I can figure out how much you're actually going to pay back. So it's the loan, $27,000, times your R, which you leave exact. So again, make sure you put parentheses around it. 0.065 divided by 12. Again, parentheses, 1 plus the R, leave exact, raised to the 24. Divide by parentheses. You need two sets here because you have the 1 plus the R. Divide by 12, raised to the 24, and then you have the minus 1. So again, you have to have those four, at least those 4 sets of parentheses if you're filling it out on the formula. Alright, the monthly payment with the rebate offer. Notice it is less than what you pay with the $30,000. So at this point, you should realize, or hopefully realize, since you're making smaller, you're making the same payments, right? Either way, you're making a payment 24 times. With the rebate, you're making a payment of $1,202. In the zero finance, it's a slightly bigger payment. Now, it's not huge, but it is about a $50 difference, which means you're going to pay less on the loan case, right? So if you see, well, what are my total payments when I do the rebate? Well, you take your 24 payments, so 24 times your 1202.75, and so if you do the rebate option, you're only going to pay $28,866 on the car. Meaning you save $1,134 if you use the rebate. Alright, so the rebate is the better way to go. First of all, you pay less total. Secondly, your monthly payment is shorter, right? $50 is not a small chunk of change every month. And so the rebate is the much better option. Alright, so this is why it's kind of important to know how these things, because you walk in, you might think 0% interest, oh, that's the way to go, $3,000 is not that much. But 10% off of anything is a fairly big. So again, this works mainly because you're paying it off fairly quickly. Now, often if you're going to wait and pay it off 6, 7, 8 years down the road, the financing at 0% would be better than the rebate, but very rarely will you get financing for that long. Alright, usually it's again 1 or 2 year financing at 0%. Alright, we'll stop there. We'll pick up the next set of notes in the next video.